सितारों ने लिखी। हम नहीं है किसी के गुलाम, हम नहीं है किसी के गुलाम, क्योंकि हमारी जिंदगी बाबा साहब ने लिखी। कर गुजर गए वो भीम थे, कर गुजर गए वो भीम थे, दुनिया को जगाने वाले भीम थे। हमने तो सिर्फ इतिहास पढ़ा है, हमने तो सिर्फ इतिहास पढ़ा है, इतिहास बनाने वाले हमारे भीम थे। जय भीम, जय भारत। बहुत बहुत बधाई हो and heartfelt greetings to everyone. Ambedkar Jayanti over the years has become a festival observed on April 14th every year to commemorate the memory of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. This day is celebrated as the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was born on this day in the year of 1891. We proudly recollect the vision and genius of the chief architect of the Indian Constitution on this occasion. The various roles played by Dr. Ambedkar have left an everlasting inspiration on the social and political mosaic of our great nation. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's unique contribution in the framing of our Constitution will always be recognized in our history. He gave the nation a profound social content and a challenging social democratic vision. Peaceful independence struggle by saying, in Indian Constitution, we ushered in a revolution that is taking place every day, in every village and every city of India. The whole world celebrated World Knowledge Day to commemorate today, birth anniversary of B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar emphasized on liberty, equality, and fraternity in society. He fought against caste and injustice because he found that there were no human rights for the large majority of the people. Baba Sahib said that slavery does not merely mean a legalized form of subjection. It means a state of society in which some men are forced to accept from others their purposes which control their conduct. He rebelled against such a social organization. He wanted to vitalize the masses in India for equal human rights, for removing the social, economic, political, and religious disabilities of the untouchables. It was necessary to establish government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Only under a democratic system of government could social, economic, political, and religious freedom he ensured equally to every man and woman. His ultimate aim of life was to create real social democracy. Baba Sahib also said that man is mortal. Everyone has to die someday or the other. But one must resolve to lay down one's life in enriching the noble ideals of self-respect and in bettering one's human life. We are not slaves. Nothing is more disgraceful for a brave man to live life devoid of self-respect. 20वीं शताब्दी के श्रेष्ठ चिंतक, ओजस्वी लेखक तथा यशस्वी वक्ता एवं स्वतंत्र भारत के प्रथम कानून मंत्री डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर भारतीय संविधान के प्रमुख निर्माणकर्ता हैं। विधि विशेषज्ञ, अथक परिश्रमी एवं उत्कृष्ट कौशल के धनी व उदारवादी परंतु सुदृढ़ व्यक्ति के रूप में हमारे डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने संविधान के निर्माण में बड़ा ही महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। इसीलिए डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अंबेडकर को भारतीय संविधान का जनक भी माना जाता है। डॉक्टर अंबेडकर की लोकतंत्र में गहरी आस्था थी। वह इसे मानव की एक पद्धति यानी कि वे ऑफ लाइफ मानते थे। उनकी दृष्टि में राज्य एक मानव निर्मित संस्था है। इसका सबसे बड़ा कार्य समाज की आंतरिक अव्यवस्था और बाह्य अतिक्रमण से रक्षा करना है। परंतु वे राज्य को निरपेक्ष शक्ति नहीं मानते थे। उनके अनुसार किसी भी राज्य ने एक ऐसे अकेले समाज का रूप धारण नहीं किया जिसमें सब कुछ आ जाए या राज्य ही प्रत्येक विचार एवं क्रिया का स्रोत हो। अनेक कष्टों को सहन करते हुए अपने कठिन संघर्ष और कठोर परिश्रम से उन्होंने प्रगति की ऊंचाइयों को स्पर्श किया। अपने गुणों के कारण ही संविधान रचना में संविधान सभा द्वारा गठित सभी समितियों में 29 अगस्त 1947 को प्रारूप समिति जो कि सर्वाधिक महत्वपूर्ण समिति थी, उसके अध्यक्ष पद के लिए बाबा साहब को चुना गया। प्रारूप समिति के अध्यक्ष के रूप में डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका का निर्वाह किया। संविधान सभा में सदस्यों द्वारा उठाई गई आपत्तियों, आशंकाओं एवं जिज्ञासाओं का निराकरण उनके द्वारा बड़ी ही कुशलता से किया गया। उनके व्यक्तित्व और चिंतन का संविधान के स्वरूप पर गहरा प्रभाव पड़ा।
That is so beautifully framed, so well intentioned. If put into practice and implementation, would create a wonderful society for us. You know, the UK doesn't have a constitution, but India does. And Dr. Ambedkar was able to frame that because he was able to educate himself abroad. You know, he was, unlike a lot of the well-to-do or people who were connected in India of his time in the early 20th century, he decided to travel to America to study and not England. And that was a very significant move. You know, he was exposed to the civil rights movement there, he was exposed to a different way of thinking. And then when he came to England, he was able to expand his thinking and his education here as well, which he could take back and feed into the work that he had to feed into, whether it was around table discussions in the 1930s, you know, when he was being called a stooge for even sitting with the British because the Congress, you know, were abandoning this. And the annihilation of caste that he wrote, you know, which is a magnificent marker for us, actually. We should remember 1936. Now, Dr. Ambedkar knew that religion is not the only guardian of morality, because I think people would tell you that it is, but it's not. And he knew that it wasn't. And he knew that failing self-responsibility and humanism, elected parliamentarians, no matter which country they lived in, wherever they are, they have a duty to uphold and create laws that progress morality and justice and not retard it. And that is why we have a bookmark for the 14th of April.
behalf of High Commissioner, Deputy High Commissioner, and members of the whole mission, welcome you all in this on this occasion. And particularly, I would like to welcome the Chair, Federation of Ambedkarite and Buddhist Organizations, Santosh Das, and the other office bearers and members of ABO. Also, I would like to welcome the President of Ravidas Gurudwara and the office bearers, members of the temple, Ravidas Temple, Southall. I would also like to welcome all the students and then the faculty and other members of London School of Economics, King's College and other institutions adjoining the High Commission who have been supporting and participating in the Ambedkar Jayanti program. And I would like to welcome once again all of you on this auspicious occasion in such a good number. Today being the holiday on the Good Friday, still people could find time and then come here. I once again welcome you all, and I would like to invite now the most venerable Sadanand Mahadev, Sangha Nayaka of All India Buddha Sangha, accompanied by other Buddhist monks for Buddhist prayers.
शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि सङ्घं शरणं गच्छामि
ततियम्पि सङ्घं शरणं गच्छामि
सकलविद्यं विदुरयायं देवरूपं सुजीव निर्मलचक्षुगभीरकोशं गौरवर्णं सुखाय अभयचित्तं निर्भयकामं सुरतधम्मं सुप्रेम विरतरज्जं सुजनेकं भीमरावं सरामि भीमरावं सरामि भीमरावं सरामि दिव्यप्रभृतु साधुवरदानतु आर्यकुलभूषणतु भीमराजा सकल विद्यापति ज्ञान सत्संगति शास्त्र शास्त्रमति बुद्धि तेजा पंकजा नरवरा रत्न सजन उद्धारा भगवंता मुराकरा भक्त काजा सौदार संकरी शस्त्र धरिता परि काबला हरिपुरी रौद्र रूपा मुक्ति पद कोणता जीर्ण स्मृति लाड़िता उदाड़िता कथिका मानसाजा राष्ट्र घटना कृति शोभते भारती महावाणो बोलती साधु संज्ञा शरण बुद्धासमि शरण धम्मासमि शरण संघासमि भीमराजा भीमराजा भीमराजा
Now I would like to call Mr. Jog Raj Ahir, President of Sri Guru Ravidas Sabha, South Hall, to say a few words, please.
जय भीम जय भारत सब तो पहला तो मैं इंडियन हाई कमीशन साहब जी को डिप्टी हाई कमीशन जी को मिनिस्टर ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन उन्होंने इस गल की मुबारकबाद देना जिन्होंने हर साल की तरह हमेशा की तरह डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर साहब जी का भारत रत्न जी का जन्मदिन हमेशा की तरह इत्थे आके मनाने का सानू मौका देता इस गल के बधाई के पात्र ने मैं डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर बारे बहुत समा नहीं लेना दो तीन गल्लां करनिया क्योंकि समा जो है इस वेले गुजर रहा खास करके हिंदुस्तान विच भारत विच उसके उत्ते थोड़ी जी नजर पाने की जरूरत है। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਮਨਾ ਕੇ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਣਾ, ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਪਹਿਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਬਾਬਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅੰਬੇਡਕਰ ਸੰਵਿਧਾਨ ਦੇ ਨਿਰਮਾਤਾ, ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਸੰਵਿਧਾਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਧਰਮਾਂ ਦਾ, ਸਾਰੇ ਮਜ਼ਹਬ ਦਾ, ਸਾਰੀ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਪੈਗਾਮ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਾਬਰਤਾ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਨਤਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ, ਸੰਸਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਤਮ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਤੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਸਦੇ ਫੋਲੋਅਰ, ਮੰਨਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਹਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏ।
I would now like to ask Mr. Sihat Bibi, a young and promising entrepreneur of the Indian community in the UK, to address us this.
His Excellency Mr. Y.K. Sinha, High Commissioner of India, His Excellency Deputy High Commissioner Mr. Patnaik, other dignitaries, and my dear friends. I am honoured for this privilege on this auspicious 126th birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, who we all revere. Baba Saheb has been a personal inspiration to me, given his foresight, humanity, and his consistent, fearless struggle for achieving social, economic, and political justice. My introduction to Baba Saheb came through my training as a lawyer when I studied the Constitution of India. I came to know the mammoth task which Baba Saheb accomplished by drafting the Indian Constitution. In my opinion, one of his greatest works is Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 of the Constitution of India, which deals with the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. I feel extremely humbled to have this opportunity to speak on the birth anniversary celebrations of such an intellectual giant who put the human rights at the heart of our Constitution as fundamental rights and developed a legal mechanism for protecting these rights through judicial action. We see the reflections of Baba Saheb's aspirations for not only political democracy but social democracy in Chapter 4, which deals with directive principles of the state policy. These are those checks and balances put in place by Baba Saheb, which has made possible the smooth running of our complex, gigantic Indian democratic machinery. When Baba Saheb speaks about the amendment clause of the Indian Constitution, he comes across as fearless as the Buddha. In Baba Saheb's own words, the only claim he, that is Buddha, made was that his message was the only true way to salvation as he understood it. It was based on universal human experience of life in the world. He said that it was open to anyone to question it, test it, and find what truth it contained. No founder has so fully thrown open his religion to such a challenge. These words fit perfectly with the Constitution and its amendment clause and elevate Baba Saheb even higher than Thomas Jefferson. Nobody in the history of mankind has applied their vision, intellect, and ideology for building a nation on such democratic principles, and for this Baba Saheb was, is, and will always be relevant to the whole of humanity. Furthermore, by crediting Buddha, his Sangha and the republics of the ancient India, for these democratic principles and democratic institutions, Baba Sahib makes the whole democratic mechanism Indian, organic, homogeneous and not foreign. In my knowledge, Baba Sahib is the only intellectual who has applied science and rationality to a religion which is Buddhism. The Navayana which he presents to us through Buddha and his Dhamma is a masterpiece. And the way he questions Marxist philosophy in Buddha or Marx has shown the world a new way of constitutional democratic socialism. We all know that Baba Sahib is the architect of the Constitution of India. And I would say he single-handedly achieved what Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, Abraham Lincoln, Marx, Lenin, Gramsci, Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela through his intellectual, social, political activism. Friends like you, I learn more each day about Baba Sahib. And let us take this occasion to celebrate his birth anniversary and build possibilities for us all to work together in unison to realize his vision of global, political, social and economic justice in a democratic manner. I would like to conclude by quoting few lines from Baba Sahib's parliamentary speech. Our difficulty is not with the ultimate. Our difficulty is with the beginning. Mr. Chairman, therefore, I should have thought that in order to make a start, in order to induce every party, every section in this country, it would be an act of greatest statesmanship for the majority party, even to make a concession to the prejudices of people who are not prepared to march together, and it is for there that I propose to make this appeal. Let us leave aside slogans, let us leave aside words which frighten people, let us even make a concession to the prejudices of our opponents, bring them in so that they may willingly join with us on marching upon that road which, as I said, if we walk long enough, must necessarily lead us to unity. Jai Bhim, Jai Samvidhan, Jai Hind.
Thank you, Siddharth, for reminding us yet again about the greatness of Baba Sahib Ambedkar. I would now like to call Ms. Santosh Das, President of our UK, to say a few words, please.
Jai Bhim, Your Excellency Mr. Sinhaji, Deputy High Commissioner, Mr. Paitnak, Mr. Rajanji, Mr. Jograji, Venerable Pantis, worshipful mayors and distinguished guests and friends, my heartiest congratulations on Dr. Ambedkar's Baba Sahib's 126th birth anniversary. We all know that Dr. Ambedkar is one of the greatest reformers of all time. He reformed the rights of women in India. He gave self-respect to and touchability to those who have been marginalized for thousands of years. He helped introduce labor reforms and economic reforms. And of course, he gave us India's constitution adopted in 1949 that secures for all its citizens justice, and that's social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote amongst all of them, all of its citizens, fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the Indian nation. A constitution that I am sad to say is continually under threat. Now, this gift of social reform is why Dr. Ambedkar is revered around the world, and his birthday is marked in all countries around the world. Dr. Ambedkar saw education as the key for development of his people. He did not travel to the UK for his further studies, as was fashionable for the rich and powerful in India of his time. He chose instead to go to America and he was exposed to the civil rights movement there and the atrocities that were happening against some of the people there. And then he continued studies in London, and this equipped him to do the magnificent work that we all know and respect him for, including the Constitution and the roundtable discussions where he gave the voice to the oppressed that have been muzzled for all these years. And Dr. Ambedkar understood that religion and customs and social orders and culture is not the only guardian of morality and justice. He knew that failing self-responsibility and humanism and kindness, elected parliamentarians, wherever they are, have a duty to uphold and create laws that progress morality and justice and not retard it. And this is why he paid such attention to the Constitution, and Siddhartha was just talking about that. And here in the UK, we have laws that provide equality of treatment and opportunity. And we live in a society that quite rightly prides itself on justice. And when in April 2013, the Parliament here in the UK finally heard the voice of victims of caste-based discrimination and directed government to outlaw caste discrimination, our joy no new bounds. No bounds. And the discrimination based on caste is no different from discrimination based on race or gender, disability, age, and so on. And today's speech is one that I hope never to deliver. And we have a government now consulting on how they can do away with this legislation agreed by Parliament. And they, the government, have framed a consultation that is beyond belief, a consultation clearly framed repeal the law. And we have a huge battle on our hands for the next few months because we have to feed into this consultation. And it's a sad day for justice, and these are sad days for what Dr. Ambedkar believed in. And I was sitting here and I was looking at the expression on his face, and that's what drives me to say these words. And if Dr. Ambedkar was alive today, commenting on the consultation, he would say, "This is utter rubbish." And what we're up against here, and I won't mention the organisation that has recently published a report that is so full of hatred and so much misinformation, and it calls out to Dalits in a very patronising way. And this is our community here, our Asian community here. And I'll quote a little bit, and it may offend some people, but I think you need to hear what these people are saying. The call to Dalits. The Church of Empire drove your ancestors from their homes and trades, put them in chains, and destroyed your spirit simply because your ancestors resisted the tyrannical British laws. The colonial Anglicans then declared your whole community as criminals by birth. And this is here in a report that's going to be published and distributed, and thousands of copies have been promised. And if Dr. Ambedkar were to read this and he were to comment on this particular bit of the report, he would say, of course the British were complicit in codifying caste, for instance, for the census purposes, and they may have used caste to further their gains, but they did not create caste and the social order that still exists in India and exists in this country. So the writers of this report chose to ignore the recent death of Vamala in India and the public floggings that are against the Constitution of India. They ignore the caste-based discrimination that occurs in this country, and they ignore that the Guru Granth Sahib itself, published and written hundreds of years before the British even landed on Indian soil, talks about caste and talks about the injustice of the caste system. So just as 1936 was a defining year for the annihilation of caste in India, 2017 will be a year to define who stands on the side of justice and equality and social reform to deal with the legal redress for
of caste discrimination in the UK, and who does not. We need a robust response to the consultation in favour of implementing the law. So Dr. Ambedkar's relevance is stronger than ever for us. He stands strong for us. And that is why I'm pleased with the good progress that has been made on the refurbishment of 10 King Henry's Road that Mr. Jorbrand referred to, the house where Dr. Ambedkar lodged from 1921 to 1922. It was a FABO proposal, and it was a FABO's lobbying that secured us that house. It wasn't handed to us. So we should be very soon having a fitting memorial so that school children in this country can learn about the great, magnificent works and the life of Dr. Ambedkar as a role model that he should be. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for coming and listening to this. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat. Thank you, Santosh. It's always a pleasure for us to work together with you and your team on preserving the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar in the UK. I would now like to request Ms. Saliha Jafar, Mayor of London, to say a few words, please.
Jayanti. I'm the mayor of Lambeth, and I'm the first mayor of Telugu-speaking region from India in this country, in Lambeth. His Excellency Sinhaji and Deputy High Commissioner Ji, and my special thanks to Rajanji for including and inviting all of us here. On behalf of my fellow worshipful mayors, Madam Mayor of Hounslow and Mr. Mayor of Brent, I would like to thank all of you for inviting us. It's our pleasure, and we are humbled to hear all the history of Baba Saheb. We say in this country, Equalities Race Relations Act came into implementation in 1976. But in India, we were working on that in 1940s. So we are ahead of this country in equal opportunities. And underrepresented people, we had laws. Baba Saheb already put it in our constitution in 1940s. So who is learning from who? You have to think about it. And I'm so proud to be Indian. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Saliha Jafar. It's always a pleasure to hear you. Now, I would like to request Mr. Y.K. Sinha, High Commissioner of India to the UK, to address us. Sir, please.
Venerable members of the Mahasangha, President of FABO, Mr. Santosh Das, Mr. Jograja, Ravidasa community, distinguished guests, my colleagues in the High Commission, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I extend my heartiest greetings to all of you on the 126th anniversary of Bharat Ratna Baba Saheb Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's birth anniversary. We're very happy that we are celebrating it as the past in India House of the High Commission. As you're aware, the India House has three main public rooms or halls named after Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and here where we are gathered today after Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. That clearly indicates not only the respect that all Indians accord to him, but also the deep veneration that all of us have for him and his contribution to modern India. Past people have spoken before me about his signal contribution in various fields. We are all aware surprise coming from a very poor and humble family, from the lowest stratas of society. In fact, something that I'm very proud of personally, he and I share a birthplace, Mao, in Madhya Pradesh. And not only that, he, of course, converted to Buddhism. I didn't, but I consider myself a Buddhist also. Because I hail from the land of the Buddha, which is Bihar. And I had the great privilege of serving in Sri Lanka before coming here. And I was just reminded, listening to the speakers and listening to the prayers of the members of the Mahasangha, about last year in June when I was invited to Mehendale, near Anuradhapura, to commemorate Posung Poya, the arrival of Arhat Mahinda from my province, from Bihar, from Patliputra, as we believe, from Mahendra Ghat on the Ganges, with the timeless message of Buddha, under the instructions of the Third International Buddhist Council, under Mogli Buddha Senior, and with the blessings of his great father, Emperor Ashoka. Dr. Ambedkar lived an exemplary life. He, in many ways, encompassed all the good values and the traditions, the philosophies of Bharat, of India. And he symbolized what I think is the unity of India. And in fact, my young friend Siddharth, when he quoted from Dr. Ambedkar's speech in the Parliament, I was reminded of the seminal message of unity that he gave. And when I heard the Honorable Worshipful Mayor of Lambeth repeat that, I thought I would refer to it because it's extremely important. In this age where we are driven by divisions, we in India are a country which is very diverse, very heterogeneous, multi-ethnic, multi-religious. We need, as Indians, particularly abroad, to unite and work together for the betterment of our motherland. And that is a message that I have been conveying in the last 4 months that I have been here at various fora and various opportunities provided to me. I think it's extremely important because we in India are at a stage where we are now being looked upon as a country that is not just an emerging power, I would say a country which is already being recognized, as people do, as a power, and I don't want to use the word superpower because that has a negative connotation sometimes, but as a power in its own right. India has always been a power on its own right, from ancient times. When we talk about medicine, we talk about Susruta, Charaka, we talk about astronomy, we talk about Aryabhatta. We have great philosophers, and the greatest of them was Lord Buddha. So I think we have inherited a legacy, a civilization, a cultural identity that we need to be proud of. And Dr. Ambedkar fashioned this in modern India through his seminal contribution as chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution and his work as law minister, and before that, before independence, as labor minister in the Viceroy's Council. I don't know how many of you knew that he worked for the work condition of the labor class, of the workers. In fact, he recommended reduction of daily working hours from 12 to 8 hours. And this was done even during British rule. His dissertation for his doctorate on provincial finance under British India was a seminal document because it laid the seeds of what are institutions that came about after independence. For instance, the Finance Commission. His testimony, I think it was the Royal Commission on Currency and Finance in 1925, formed the basis of what is now the Reserve Bank of India. So I think his role and his contribution is multifaceted. And I think someone like him, it is difficult in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even half an hour to really appreciate the contributions that he has made to the emergence of modern India. And I think all of us, as I said, on this birth anniversary, should perhaps introspect, read some of his works, and see how he was able to struggle against all odds and ensure a very dynamic constitution, a constitution that stands for an egalitarian society, for equality, for fraternity, for justice, for the rule of law. And something that a constitution is dynamic because it has survived. We are now celebrating the 70th year of India's independence. And we are proud to have a democracy, warts and all, obviously we are not perfect, that has survived over the ages, has survived, and not just survived, has flourished over the ages. In fact, it is a model. When India became independent, and in 1950 when we became a republic, we were a beacon to the colonized world, to countries emerging from the thraldom of colonial occupation. And we were a model to these countries in Asia and Africa. Many of them adopted similar paths to democracy, many didn't. But we have stood firm in our commitment to the Constitution. And there again, we remember the seminal contribution of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. I'm very happy that in the UK, we are celebrating his birth anniversary. We celebrate his life through memorials, statues, paintings, and that is how we keep his memory alive. Somebody said that this shouldn't be just words and rhetoric, we should implement that in our real life. I think that is very important, because that is the message that he has conveyed to all of us. And that will be his lasting legacy, not just to India, but to the entire humanity. I'm very happy that today, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi unveiled a BHIM app, Mr. He referred to that in Nagpur, where the poorest of the poor can make digital payments through just thumb impressions. Now this is the sort of technology that is being married to the fundamentals of our nation. And I think we are in a position now to try and ensure that what is enshrined in our constitution, in our laws, are also implemented. We will have, obviously, aberrations. In fact, we have aberrations all over the world. Which country, and I'd like to know, is perfect where there are no aberrations? There will be aberrations. The important thing is that that should be the exception rather than the rule. And I think we in India, and I think Indians abroad, recognize that. And that is why it is important that all of us must work together for the common good of India, Indians, and people at large. I think Dr. Ambedkar and, of course, the great Lord Buddha would be very happy if we could all work together in harmony, in peace, and for the common good and prosperity. With these words, I'd like to once again wish all of you, convey my greetings on this very auspicious occasion when we are gathered here to commemorate the 126th birth anniversary of a truly exceptional man. Jai Hind.
Would I like to ask Sanji Ashok Chakravarti to say a few words, please?
JB and J. Bharat, His Excellency High Commissioner of India, Venerable Bhikkhu Sangha, worshipful mayors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honour and privilege to welcome you all today as we celebrate the 126th birth anniversary of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. The man born in 1891 on the 14th of April was to become the man that brought democracy, peaceful independence, and freedom to the oppressed masses of India. This man contributed to the construction of the Indian Constitution, and in doing so, greatly improved the quality of life of all citizens of India, especially the underprivileged women and so-called untouchables. The man responsible for these revolutionary amendments to Indian society is our master and saviour, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar's ideas for the restructure of society and political mentality have had an undeniably significant impact and will always be recognised and celebrated in our history. Social prejudice and discrimination against the lower classes were the obstacles in Dr. Ambedkar's path to the much-needed liberty, equality and fraternity he envisioned for the people of India. Education was his solution to overcome this problem. He said, to deny them the right of education is to create a situation full of injustice. To keep people illiterate and then to make their literacy the ground of their enfranchisement is to add insult to the injury. Therefore, Babasaheb introduced free education for women and people of lower castes. This education enabled the victims of the caste system and other social injustices to free themselves from the limitations of their illiteracy, granting them countless opportunities that were not available to them previously, simply due to the unfortunate fact that they were considered to be less human than other members of society. Dr. Ambedkar is one of the most eminent intellectual figures of modern India. He remained in the forefront of all social, economic, political and religious efforts for the upliftment of the lowest stratum of the Indian society, known as untouchables, women and other backward classes. I would like to end with a quote from Dr. Ambedkar. My final words of advice to you are educate, agitate and organise. Have faith in yourself. With justice on our side, I do not see how we can lose our battle. The battle to me is a matter of joy. The battle is, in the fullest sense, spiritual. There is nothing material or social in it. For ours is a battle not for wealth or for power. It's the battle for freedom. It's the battle for reclamation of human personality. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, young lady. That brings us to the end of our program on this auspicious day. Thank you all once again for coming today. We would now like to request all of you to join us for a light refreshment at Nehru Hall upstairs on the first floor. Thank you very much again.